As always, when a new Gran Turismo update drops, we have some new motor swaps to talk about. This time around, thankfully it's 10, because even though, as I said in the review overall yesterday, I personally do find the cars quite pleasant to work with, these are for many people the standouts. Some of you have even said as much in the past, even if there's only maybe 5 or 6 motor swaps, that you tend to enjoy these more. In the case of these ones, there are certainly 1 or 2 in particular, which I really like, and I haven't fully tested them yet, and we're kicking off with probably my personal favourite pick out of all of these, the Mercedes A45 AMG with none other than the 6.2, was it, I think, V8 from the AMG GT3 race car, the 2020 shape. That is a hell of a motor swap. It's already a monster of a car, of course, 4-wheel drive. It's worlds apart from the first generation A-Class. With this engine, well, you're getting into kind of Forza Horizon territory at that point, but in a good way, and certainly that's a very, very cool swap to have. In terms of overpowered swaps, well, the next one is a car which, again, I can't say I use too much. I've used it in special projects for a dirt rally style build, which you can see here. It is, of course, the 2015 Mustang GT with the 1200 horsepower now, so just a bit of a step above a rally car, Windsor 351 Maverick engine. And spoiler alert, that is one of a couple of cars this time around to have the Maverick engine. Next up, we've got a pair, speaking of shared motors, of Honda Type Rs. First up, the 2020 shape FK8 with the 600 horsepower NSX engine. I think that's the newer shape, GT500 NSX. I could be mistaken, so correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure that's the right one. And that exact same 600 horsepower engine can also be put into the 2022 shape, so the FL5 generation, Civic Type R as well. If you are looking for more of a track day, or I guess kind of time attack build at that sort of point, then it's a hell of an engine to be putting into a Civic platform. And certainly in the case of the Mugen, which as I've said before is one of my personal favourite special projects builds, well, that thing would be an absolute weapon, as if it wasn't already quick enough at 350 horsepower. Now you've got 600 plus. Going back to the point of that Windsor Maverick engine, this next one doesn't make necessarily as much sense as a Mustang. Certainly it's not as obvious, but a pretty cool one thanks to having 4-wheel drive. The Genesis. You can drop that 1200 horsepower V8 into the Genesis G70. Now that, I bet, would be a hell of a lot of fun. Again, I haven't tried it yet, but between this, the aforementioned Mercedes A-Class, and one other one which we'll talk about soon, I think those might be my 3 personal favourite swaps from this particular 10. Next up, we have one of a long line of Silvias and S chassis Nissans which have had motor swaps, this time actually doubling up now for the 1996 shape, so the S14 generation Silvia K's Aero. Now you've got the option of either the LT5 C7 Corvette engine or the slightly more obvious choice of an RB26, so the R34 Skyline engine. So again, you can kind of choose between Tokyo Drift or Formula Drift, I guess, depending on the mood you're in. Keeping it on the theme of JDM, the next one is the Yamaha RX-7. Still really wish we had the GT300 car, because it would be probably a much more useful vehicle, for me at least, than this one, which I never used, to be honest. Another double up though, the LS7 Rampage engine on the one hand, or the more obvious Mazda 787B engine. So pretty spicy on both counts. This next vehicle is the third out of the 3 which I mentioned being my favourites this time around, and this is probably one of the ones which more people have done than any of these other 10, because it arrived with the new vehicle. It is, of course, the Avantime swap, nearly 800 horsepower in fully built form from the Group 3 GTI Vision GT. That is a hell of a motor swap on this car, and of course I misspoke in the review yesterday. I'll have probably put a comment under the video anyway correcting it, but for those who missed it, I mistakenly said that it was the Suzuki Vision GT engine. I did wonder while I was driving it why it didn't quite sound as high-pitched as I thought it should have, but it makes sense, it wasn't that engine. And regardless, it's a hell of an engine, making the Avantime a hell of a car, certainly for a front-wheel drive minivan, that's for sure. Next up, we are doubling up once again, this time for a Subaru BRZ variation at the 2018, so the facelift era STI Sport. Once again, an option being the LT5 Corvette C7 engine, and the other being a Porsche 911 engine, the M97-80. And last but not least, this one should be a lot of fun as well, and also another fun throwback, if you will, to a special project's hot hatch. I built, of course, the fictional HPA Golf RGTI based on the Mark 7, so the 2014 Golf GTI. Unfortunately stuck with front-wheel drive, which is a bit of a shame. If it were a Golf R, or of course an R32, ideally it would be a lot more useful, but you can put that same, when built, nearly 800 horsepower GTI Vision GT engine into this one as well. And the front-wheel drive might hamper it, because I wouldn't say the Golf is necessarily as good as the Avantime, which is a crazy sentence to say when it comes to cornering, but this one certainly could be a top 4 favourite engine build out of this particular 10. So an interesting, somewhat eclectic mix. I've said before, this is much more what I prefer. There's some doubling up here and there with LT5 Corvettes or Windsor Mavericks, whatever, but having a variation of cars, not too much repetition, and some wild, unexpected unexpected picks, for me the most unexpected certainly being the Mercedes A-Class. That's exactly what I like to see. And as much as I would have personally liked to see a V10 engine in an Avantime for obvious reasons, I'll take a Vision GT engine. It's pretty powerful anyway. And of course I will see you presumably next month. We'll have to wait and see, I guess, as far as the update goes for more motor swaps. And incidentally, if you are new to the channel and would like to check out all, quite literally, of the other motor swaps in the game, there is a hefty list right below this video in the description with links to all of the other parts of the series if you're looking for something in particular. Definitely stick around in the coming days on the channel because I will be reviewing as of tomorrow each of the 4 new cars, starting with the Renault Avantime. I'll see you then, and thanks for watching.